This is the Violent Professional Podcast.
It's like I haven't podcasted in fucking forever. Jesus Christ, it's like I'm all thumbs today. I started this episode out by doing a shotgun with a fucking tall boy of Bud Light, but it ended in utter disaster. I didn't realize that the beer was going to squirt everywhere, much like your mom. But as soon as I started to do the shotgun, I thought it'd be an interesting thing for the episode. I'll do a shotgun when I start the episode, and it'll be fucking dope and super rad. And it was none of those things. It was trying to, yeah. So this has started off very poorly. So I'll be interested to see how this whole fucking thing turns out. You know, I come into these episodes, I have high hopes for how it's gonna be. And I try new things all the time, and obviously one of the things I just tried was fucking shit. Gotta turn this on Do Not Disturb. Shit's bananas. Alright, so, yeah, I'll put the actual shotgun attempt at the end of this video if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not watching on YouTube, you should definitely go and subscribe to our YouTube channel or our Twitch channel. I'm streaming all kinds of video games and shit on there. I might put this on Twitch to see what people think of that. Okay, so let me get fucking situated here. I'm all jacked up. This is one of those episodes that I'm fucking having a hard time. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I just jump into the episodes and I have it's right away. I'm just fucking knocking it out. I'm fucking hitting that content, making that fucking content. And this one I seem to be struggling. I think because I took a week off and went to Florida and fucking was on vacation. Now my head's all fucked up. So, yeah, as you can see, fucking suited and booted, son. Look at the fucking tiger tea. I know you can't look into its eyes without fucking losing your goddamn mind, but here we are, tiger tea. Got the backwards cap on, as per usual. Got the fucking white velvet tiger tee on my fucking solar plexus. I got them goddamn gator shorts, baby. Look at this shit. I'm fucking suited and booted, bro. I'm suited and booted. Ready for this episode, even though it fucking started as a disaster. All right. Yeah, like I said, I went to Florida and I'm back. It took the weekend, the previous weekend, or this past weekend. I was in Florida. I drove down from Arkansas. It was relatively quick. It was like a 10 to 11 hour drive to the Panhandle in Destin, Florida. That place is beautiful. It's actually, I've spent quite a bit of time over there in my day, and went there with my son. I was, he's here in Arkansas with me. He's going back to Washington soon for about a month, and then he'll be back. But he brought him down there. We did some cool shit. Went to the beach like every fucking day. Went snorkeling. Went to this like touristy trap thing, and I don't know if you've ever been to Destin, Florida, but there's a lot of touristy shit there. It's called the Emerald Coast because it's like basically green, blue water. It's super, super majestic, fancy, beautiful, scenic, all of the good shit. And so we go on a boat trip. I like to go on boat trips from time to time, not riverboat gambling trips, but boat snorkel diving. So we went we took one of those like touristy fucking snorkel trip things, and it was good. It was fun. He had a blast. He came up to me a few times, said, "This was awesome. Thank you for setting this up." I just paid the money and we went on it. But it was a good time. We went and looked at hermit crabs. We went, went in the water, did snorkel diving, snorkel dive. Went snorkeling and like looked at some fish, aquatic life, some different kinds of colorful fish. It was cool. The only thing disappointing about it was because I've spent so much time down there, I know the whole fucking area. And the boat went to places you can basically walk to. So essentially, I paid the money for this fucking trip to like go around, but you could literally park your car like fucking 100 feet from where they were doing the snorkeling. Now, I'm not saying that it was like not a good time. It was a fucking good time, Was there with my son, enjoying the beautiful and warm water near Crab Island. If you haven't ever seen that, go look it up. It's party time down there. Everybody parks their boats on this sandbar. You got like waist high water. Everybody's just getting fucking lit. Especially right now in the summertime. Everybody's getting fucking lit, getting sunburned, getting bronzed and getting burnt. That's what they're doing. But they're having a good time. They're drinking, they're partying, they're fucking celebrating life, which I think a lot of people should do these days, as opposed to what some people aren't doing. They're not celebrating life. They're celebrating death, apparently, because they think that everybody's going to die unless they fucking all pile up and get fucking jabbed in the shoulder. So, fuck your immune system. You don't need that. Let's all just fucking put some experimental shit in our bodies. Oddly enough, the same people screaming about fucking how you need to put some shit in your body were the same people that were anti-vaxxers. It's fucking weird. It's weird how that works. A few years ago, they were anti-vaxxers. But anyway, we're having a good time. But, as I looked at it, we got back from the boat trip. That was about 3 hours of snorkeling. I realized that I could have parked my car and we could have done this for a lot less money. But it was a memory, and you can't be mad at that. So, had a good time in Florida. I stayed with one of the founding members of the OLP, my buddy Jeremy. He's one of the 7. Was good to see him again. I haven't seen him since Arizona when I was there about almost a year ago. So it's a good time. Was down hanging out with him and his wife and his kids. My son was having a good time playing Minecraft and all kinds of awesome video games with my buddy Jeremy's boy, and they made friends, and it was a blasty blast. Brought my dog in the car with me. She was so fucking. She was having such a good time. It's weird. We'd go out to, I don't know if you've ever been to Navarre or Navarre Beach. We'd go out there and they got some waves. Well, I brought my dog out there, and it was like she's been a beach dog her whole fucking life, because I would go out to the fucking about 100 feet in where the waves were kicking, and she would go right with me. She's swimming there right by me. And as soon as the big waves started coming, because it takes about a minute, and then big waves, and then it kind of settles down, and then more big waves. And I'm not talking about like huge fucking tidal waves. I'm talking about like, some fucking like 3-foot waves. And she fucking, as soon as they started getting wild, she turned around and just fucking Superman that shit like she had been doing it her whole life. Like she knew how to fucking surf and shit. I was like, how the fuck did you learn that? I've never taught. The most that she has seen is like jumping in the rivers, because she loves the water. And she'll just swim around for fucking, if you're out there in the middle of the water, she'll stay there and swim around you. Sometimes she goes to the shore, still, like if you like wearing flip-flops or something and they float up, she'll grab that and run to the shore, and then she'll hang out and look for fucking lizards and whatnot to eat. But yeah, she got in the ocean, no fucking problem, just went up there, surfed back to the beachhead, came swimming back out, caught a new wave, bro. Fucking hang 10, bro. She was loving it. But she drank a little bit of that salt water and puked all over the place. One of the things that was what I know about my dog is that because she hates dog food, she fucking hates it. She would much rather have a piece of lasagna, as you may have heard me say in the past. She would rather eat human food than her dog food. She fucking hates it. Even like blue buffalo, she'll eat it, but then she's like, yeah, but I mean, it's good, but not as good as that fucking chicken that you're eating. And so sometimes, like, I try not to give her any human food because this is a problem she has. If she tastes human food, she will go, on her own behalf, she will go days without eating in hopes that I drop some food. And like, I can't force her to eat. There's dog food in the bowl. But she'll sit there and fucking go days without eating. It's the craziest shit. And then eventually she'll start eating because she's starving. But there's food available. And she's just hoping, praying that she could find some morsel under the refrigerator or fucking that I might drop something. It's crazy. So anyway, even if she hasn't eaten food, she will generate dog shits. She will be full of shit. She will have piles and piles of shit for some reason that she fucking can just shit on command. So every morning I bring her out, and even on the days that she hasn't eaten, because believe me, she's gone a fucking day without eating before because she just wants me to give her pizza. She will still shit, which is crazy. It's like, how is that happening? Do you have a fucking shit factory up there that just produces shit out of the water? I don't get it. So, one thing I know about my dog Zia is no matter what, anytime I let her outside, she'll fucking generate a turd. No matter what. Shits nonstop. She's a shit factory. And so I have to be very careful with her around other people. And not because she's aggressive toward them. She loves fucking people. She loves fucking people, bro. No, she loves people. So much. But the deal with her is she will squeeze out a turd as soon as she gets out of the car. Anywhere. She squeezes out a turd. She just it's like she's saving shit. Like it's a fucking bank. Like she's a fucking turd bank. And it's crazy. I don't know how to fucking make you guys believe me, but she literally stores shit like a chipmunk stores nuts in her fucking mouth. So sometimes there's been times where we go in the river and she fucking shits in the river. She'll like run out into the water and spray fucking shit everywhere. Sometimes because she hasn't been eating, she'll spray diarrhea. It's the craziest thing. So anyway, we're in the middle of this fucking picturesque scenery in this fucking vacation spot where people paid, I assume, thousands of dollars of their money to fly from across the country to go to Navarre Beach in fucking Florida. My dog is out there having a fucking blasty blast. And everybody, believe me when I say this, that she is a fucking chick magnet. Every fucking, basically, woman within a fucking 100-foot radius was coming over to me and saying, "Oh my God, your dog is so fucking beautiful." Because she is a good-looking dog. She is healthy, even though she doesn't eat sometimes. She's healthy. She's happy. She's loving on people. She's fucking running up, fucking sniffing butts. Like, everyone loves her. And especially because she's so fucking cute and cuddly with a fucking razor blade mouth. She, like, girls were just coming up and they were fucking saying, "Oh my God, I love your dog. Let me pet your dog. Oh my God, it's so fucking cute." And she's running around and literally I'm looking out on the beach and I'm like, "Oh fuck, I think my dog has to take a shit." And I'm like, "See ya!" I'm like calling her, like, "Come out here in the fucking water so I can grab you and we can go," because I'm still out there swimming, enjoying my time. And fucking, like, people are staring at my dog. They're like in line of sight. They're all looking at my fucking dog, watching it incessantly, just like watching it. And she fucking goes like up. She catches one of those waves and goes about 10 feet from the shore, where it's like about half a foot of fucking water, and she's fucking just starts curling her back and fucking tucking her butt, and I'm like, "No!" And I'm watching it, and she puts her ass towards the fucking beach, and everybody's like, "Wait, what?" And fucking Zia sprays fucking dog diarrhea all in the water. Now, mind you, she is fucking surrounded by people. She's fucking surrounded by people because Navarre Beach is a fucking hotspot for fucking tourists. It's white sandy beaches, beautiful blue water, hotels along the beach. It looks like fucking Daytona Beach. Like, it's fucking beautiful. And everybody's watching as she sprays hot dog diarrhea all over the fucking water. It immediately turned fucking the blue water brown. And everybody was like, "Oh my fucking God." and they're all swimming around her. But I don't know what was going on. And like, I saw it happening, and I was like, there's nothing I can fucking do about it. There's nothing I can fucking do about it. And I turn away like I didn't see it, because that was my only defense for that situation. And everybody around her got covered in fucking dog diarrhea. And they were like, oh my God, she's so fucking cute. As they fucking swim in brown water. It's fucking, my son saw it and he was like, whoa, oh my God. He thought it was the funniest thing ever. And to some respect, I did too. But unfortunate event. Unfortunate turn of events. You know, for everybody, really. And they didn't seem to mind, which was weird. Like, it was, everybody saw it. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, these things happen. Literally, shit happens sometimes. But anyway, I'm doing this episode because, I want to give you an episode about things going on in my life, just things I think, and it's not so much about me, it's more about you. I want to take a relatively uninteresting event and make it interesting for you. Hear my tales of woe. So I'll start off by saying this is, if you know anything about this podcast, or you know about the OLP, I am writing a book, and it's a science fiction book, and it is based on a thought experiment that myself and a few other of my friends came up with last year or a year before, detailing a cult that was created based on the idea of belief in mole people under the earth that were spinning the earth, and then they became a space exploration cult that had a lot of harrowing adventures to get into space, get into Mars, and it ended in an utter tragedy on Mars. And you can listen to those episodes if you want. Go check out the OLP episodes. Chapter 1, Let's Make a Cult. Chapter 2, I don't remember what it's called. Horrible me. I'm fucking right. And then Chapter 3, Bagpipes on Mars. So go check out those episodes. I'm sorry I don't remember the title of the fucking second one. Oh, Coming of the Sack. That's where we introduce new characters and we continue on our path, get the gang together. Everybody, like, after the fall of the initial cult, they now become space explorers. Use it, they team up with Leon Tusk to get to Mars. They get there, and then, one of the dudes that broke off from the original 7, he created his own new cult and then flew to Mars, and we have an epic battle and all that shit. So you can listen to those episodes, but basically, as these next 10 episodes, we're on episode 91, and we get to episode 100, I'm going to give you some, this is going to be the 10 days of the OLP, or 10 days of, the 10 days of the old OLP, so I'm going to give you some facts about cults, 10 facts about cults, and hopefully I remember to do it on every episode from here on out, until we get to episode 100. Where I don't actually know what I'm going to do for episode 100. There's a deadline for me to finish the first draft of the fucking OLP book. But what do you think we should do for the 10th episode? If you have any ideas, hit me up at DM. Hit me up in any of the comments and any of the shit you watch, and let me know what we should do for the 10th episode. What I should do for the episode 100. What do you want to see on that? Do you want to see like a best of, which will just cripple me and as far as my time, because I'll have to go through and like pick the best fucking things. But what do you want me to do for the 100th episode? It's a milestone, Who'd have thought I'd be doing this for this long? Not me. So 10 facts. 10 facts about cults. I'll give you one fact a day, and this is from factfile.org. So the first one is, there is a thing called anti-cult movement, and if you don't know what it is, I'm going to explain. There's groups of people that believe cults are bad, and they talk about how cults are destructive in people's lives, and they push to help people see that cults are not the best answer for living their life, obviously, right? the anti-cult movement has been organized by several groups to oppose the growth of cults since the 1970s. That's a fact about cults from factfile.org. But as their groups, they kind of sound cultish themselves. They're the anti-cult movement, and it sounds very cultish in its own right. Their allegiance to a group of anti-cult people. So there's a fact about cults. We'll get into more, hopefully more violent and destructive facts about cults. Interesting facts about cults. Anyway, moving on. Moving on to what happened today. I'm gonna fucking explain this to you guys, what I was doing. My day was kind of interesting towards the end. About 8 o'clock this night. I think it's the next day. I don't know what time it is right now. Yep, it's literally 1 minute past midnight. So yesterday at about 8 p.m. at night, my son, his friend, and his friend's family decided they want to go to roller rink. And so we went there, and we're there at 8 o'clock. And I don't know if you've been to a roller rink, but they're fucking bananas. I'm going to explain what the experience was like. First off, I can't believe that fucking roller rinks still exist. And what do you think? What do you think when you think of a roller rink? Is it like old, dingy, sketchy as fuck, like disco music, creepy pedophiles roller skating around? Well, you're probably correct. That's what you think of a fucking roller rink. That's what they are. I never thought in a million years that I would be at a roller rink at this age. I'm fucking almost 40. I'm 38, turning 39 this year. I never thought I would be at a roller rink skating around. But that's the fate that I had. That was the fate that was beholden to me tonight. And lucky for me and lucky for you, it's what this episode is really about. So anyway, my son and his friend and his friend's family, they decided to go to a roller rink, and I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to go to the roller rink. I haven't seen one of these shit shows in a long fucking time. I wonder what it's like. I haven't been since I was a kid. And I remember we had this place in New York where I'm originally from called Wooden Wheels. Shout out to anybody at Wooden Wheels. If you've been there, it's a fucking magical place. It's a roller skating rink. And it's probably, it looks probably the same as it did back when I was a kid. We used to go to it all the time. They had those arcade machines and stuff, like fucking whatever they were when I was a fucking kid in the fucking 80s and 90s. And roller skates. Like there was nothing, like there were no rollerblades back then. It was roller skates. The 4-wheel roller skates. Putting that fucking wood down. Slinging that fucking wood and steel. Rolling like a fucking motherfucking hero on the fucking bowling alley. Like, I don't know if you have looked at a pair of roller skates lately, but it's like they took a bunch of bowling shoes and they fucking threw roller skate bottoms, like a fucking like a truck on the bottom of it, like a skateboard truck, but 4 wheels. It's kind of like that. It's exactly the same. It's the skateboard trucks that have been smashed together, nailed to fucking bowling shoes. They have the same look. They have the same smell. All smells like fucking piss. I went to this roller rink and we're walking in, and like as you walk in to this place in Arkansas, a roller rink in fucking middle of Arkansas, there's like a booth. Like, you ever been to a fucking strip club where they have the fucking booth that you go to and pay the fucking thing, and then the fucking partition, and you slide your money in there? It's sectioned off from the rest. It looked like a fucking strip club entrance. That's what it looked like. Everything was velvet and fucking black lights and shit, and there was a woman behind the fucking counter taking money from people. And so we fucking go into this, we're like paying for me and my son, it was fucking $20. Like, why is it so expensive? Probably the rent is very expensive. But yeah, so we're in there with his friends and stuff, and like the lady at the counter that took the money just looks at us and goes, "Hey, just so you know, it's fucking teen night. If any of these bastards give you any problems, let me know." It's like, what? This is like, she goes, "Yeah, they get a little." It was like, what are you talking about? Give us problems? How worried should we be in a fucking Arkansas roller rink? She's like, well, they get a little wild. Like their parents drop them off, and then the teenagers get real fucking wild on a Friday night on teen night roller rinks fucking place. It's like, okay, so we're like, that was weird. We go over to the thing, and everybody gets their roller skates, and we're having a good time. We get our roller skates, and like it's all fucking in disarray. Like nobody's fucking cleaned the place, and wherever I was like, "Is this real?" Like as I'm walking through, I was like, "Is this real life? Have we been teleported to the 1990s?" Like I'm just like blown away that this. First off, that roller rinks actually exist still. Like I get ice rinks where you skate and it's seasonal. Usually they're not in disarray. It's just like ice. A skating rink and people fucking skating around, enjoying the holiday season. But this fucking place, it looked like people have been fucking shooting cum shots all over the place. It's like black light and there's spots everywhere. It was super fucking dirty, dingy, and weird. Now there's kids rolling around in the fucking place, like fast as fuck. That fucking TikTok thing is like, I'm fast as fuck. You don't even know how fast I am. I'm fast as fuck, boy. It was insane how fast some of these kids were going. And I also thought that it was insane that fucking teenagers are spending their Friday at a fucking roller rink. But then I realized real quick that the reason they're spending their fucking Fridays at a roller rink is because of TikTok. TikTok is the fucking devil. It's from China. It makes fucking people do retarded shit. All right? Like they're zipping around. These young people, these young adults, they're zipping around fucking doing spins and fucking, wearing neon roller skates and roller blades and shit. And it's impressive. I'm like, how the fuck are you going so fast? This seems dangerous. And then I realize I'm also getting very old. I am a parent, and that's exactly how I'm fucking acting. I'm like, this is utterly dangerous. You kids, you young punks. Let me get a sip of that bell. Turtleneck and chain, sipping light beer foam. You can tell by my turtleneck and chain that I bone. So anyway, we go over to the fucking desk where you get your rollerblades. I was like, hey dude, I used to rollerblade when I was a kid. I used to do that I used to jump up on rails and shit, And I was like, I'll get some rollerblades. That'll be dope. That'll be fucking dope city. They didn't have any. The biggest they had was size 8. You think I look like a size 8? I ain't got size 8 feet. So I have to get the fucking 4-wheel roller skates. And, we all get prepared and we're going out on the rink. And let me tell you, roller skating is fucking crazy. It feels super dangerous. I was about to step out onto the fucking rink and I had to hold on to the fucking cinder block walls, like painted in this fucking 1980s like coloring with fucking neon paint so that it shows up in the fucking neon light. Because remember, everything's black light. You gotta have black light. So I'm out there and I'm literally taking my time. I'm like, I'm feeling the fear that I'm gonna fall. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I got 2 fucking blown discs in my lower back from fucking Jack and Steel. Fucking get all fucking jacked and tan in my previous life. And so like I am worried about falling. And like it's just a fact of my life. At this stage of my life, I'm very worried about falling at certain times. And roller skating is like exacerbating that fear. Like, I'm just like, fuck, dude, I don't know if this was a smart move. Aside from all the chaos that's happening in there currently with no fucking adult supervision except for fucking like me, my kid's friend's dad, and like like it's crazy. So anyway, I build up enough courage to fucking start scooting, and when I say scooting, I'm fucking scooting. I'm fucking getting the hang of it. I'm whipping around. I'm like, I look over at my son who's just getting the hang of it. I'm like, you want to fucking race? And he's like, yeah, I want to race. And we fucking zipping around, fucking crossing legs over, like fucking weaving in and out of traffic. We're like, yeah, I'm fucking skating, yeah. And we're fucking listening to Cardi B and shit, like super inappropriate songs. Super fucking inappropriate songs for fucking teen night at a roller rink. This place just fucking permeates a fucking scent that attracts pedophiles. It's fucking crazy. So anyway, as the night progresses, we're there for 2 hours before I called it quits. I was like, this is fucking out of control. So about hour 1, I'm fucking exhausted. I'm like, I just found out how crazy roller skating can be in a cardiovascular sense. I had to sit down, you know. I'm not in the greatest shape anymore, but I realize that I probably have to start working out and stop drinking so much goddamn beer and eating chicken wings all the time. So, I'm taking my time watching my son, making sure nobody's fucking with him, because there's a bunch of teenagers, like I said, going 1,000,000 miles per hour. And then it hits about 9 o'clock, and that's when all the fucking parents drop their little shithead kids off. And there is crazy shit happening. Like, there's fucking teenage kids coming in with fucking glass bottles, breaking them, like they're fucking tackling each other on roller skates, kicking each other with the fucking bottom of their fucking rollerblades. There's a bouncy house in there. Like, people are fucking breaking glass over it, fucking trying to cut the shit up, running and fucking these teenage boys are running and tackling each other. It's fucking bananas. It's banana cakes. And like, there's these teenage girls. They're like super into it. They're like, oh my God, this is fucking dope. And, all the kids are out there fucking scooting around and fucking doing moves and shit. And like, I'm like, what the fuck is happening? I don't get it. And, I talked about on the last episode, that fucking dumbass perm haircut they all get. I'm sitting there and looking at all these people coming in. And I'm like, all these fucking dudes have the same goddamn haircut. And no way is their hair supposed to look like that. They all get it permed. Like, they're using activator and afro sheen on their fucking straightened hair, and they get a fucking perm. What the fuck is happening? Like, these kids they shave the side, they grow out the top real long, and it's fucking curly and shit. I have never seen this many fucking curly-headed fucks in my life. But at the roller rink in Arkansas, in a fucking time machine that takes you back to 1990, every one of the kids has that fucking haircut. And chicks are just chasing them around. It's like, fucking, oh my God, Jeffrey's so hot. Look at his curly poof hair. So fucking dumb. So fucking dumb. And you see, I was like talking to the other parents, and I'm like, what is with that fucking haircut? And they're like, I don't know. Like, everybody has it. What is going on? Bunch of curly-headed fucks. And like, I thought about it. I was like, if I went to high school like that, or school at all, looking like these fucking kids, I would be bullied relentlessly for having some fucking dumb haircut. I understand. It's a different time. But this time sucks. You kids are retarded. You fuckers out there with that stupid fucking curly-headed fucking perm that you're doing. Perm. That's something that fucking moms used to get in the 80s. They would get a perm. Like, where the fuck? Styles and hairstyles repeat themselves, and fashion repeats itself. But who'd have thought it would repeat itself into the fucking 2020s, 40 fucking years later, and then teenage boys get their fucking hair permed? Fucking ridiculous. Oh my God. So, as you'd imagine, the roller skating rink, like, it's mayhem. Like, as I'm describing it, like, people are just fucking losing their minds. They have no parents around. This is the first time they're chasing fucking pussy, and they're fucking doing dumb boy shit, and they're fucking wearing their perms, and chicks are roller skating around, and everybody's fucking having a great time. And it just, like, it got so wild at a point, I was like, I think the cops are showing up. Like, I think this is what's going to happen. The cops are going to show up, and something's going to happen. The building's going to fucking catch on fire. Somebody's going to get stabbed. It may be me. I don't know. And when I really knew that it was like time to go, is this fucking kid with that one of those haircuts come up to me. He's like, "Hey, bro, your friend, you ever have a friend that, like, punched your arm so fucking hard that, like, it went numb?" And I was like, God damn it, what the fuck is happening? All right, let's go. We packed up our shit. We got out of here. I was like, I'm never going to a roller skating rink again. But if you're interested in seeing some ridiculous behavior, and you want a trip back to the 90s, go check out a roller rink in your local neighborhood. They could really use the fucking help, you know? Those places are like a liability. Like, for the people that own them, the liability is a fucking lawsuit waiting to happen. And if you enjoy not having an experience like me, then you fucking don't go to the roller rink. But if you want to have an experience that you're just like, what the fuck, and you can, like, tell people about on a podcast, go to the roller rink. They're great. You know, their piss smell, unsupervised kids, do their haircuts. You know, it's something to look forward to. Anyway. Speaking of roller skating and stuff like that, I remember when I was in New York and I was like an 18-year-old dude. I was working at this pizza place, go figure, right? I've talked about it in the podcast in the past. But we had an election cycle there in the town of New Paltz, New York, where I was working and living at the time. There was an election cycle for a new mayor, and one of the candidates was this guy named Carl. Now, one of my buddies from New York, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. This dude Carl with a K, and he was running for mayor of the town of New Paltz very briefly, and I don't even know if he was on the ballot. But he was running for mayor. And the problem with Carl is he's a fucking homeless dude. And if you have ever... And I'll describe how he looks. If you've ever seen the movie Hook with Robin Williams, Dustin Hoffman, Hook, the character he's playing, he looks exactly like that. And I'm not joking. Not with the curly hair, but when he takes off the wig, when Peter Pan, or Robin Williams takes his little his sword, and he takes off the fucking wig, and you see his bald ass fucking hair and the mustache and shit, and the fucked up teeth and the fucking like giant schnoz. That's what Carl with the K looked like. Carl was a homeless dude, and he was running for mayor. He always wore suits that I assume he found in the fucking dumpster, but they were nice corduroy suits that he had. You know, always carry a briefcase. And he'd come into the pizza place, and he'd tell us all about how he's running for mayor. And he'd give us these fucking, like, Xeroxed fucking sheets that had his picture on it. He's like, it was, like, Sharpied for mayor. So he would, like, panhandle during the day, I'd assume, and then he'd go get copies of fucking Kinko's or whatever the copy place was there at the time. And he was running for fucking mayor. Now, his main position, might you ask what that was? You're interested about a homeless dude that wants to take a fucking position in local politics. He wants to become the mayor of fucking New Paltz, New York. His position was that he was going to take taxpayer dollars and open up a motherfucking roller rink in the center of town. That's awesome. Like, I wish more politicians were like that. They were just like, yeah, I could try to make informed decisions, but I'm going to do something awesome. I'm going to put a roller rink because we just don't have one in town. A homeless dude that liked to roller skate. That's a fucking novel concept, dude. I've never heard of such a thing. He had my vote if I was registered in that town. But anyway, one day, Carl was roller skating down this giant hill. If you've ever been to New York, it's like this giant hill down Main Street. And unfortunately, Carl was roller skating down that fucking hill and smashed into the back of a fucking car. And I just don't know what happened to Carl after that. If you know Carl, if you've been to New Paltz and you know what the fuck I'm talking about, because this is a very true story, leave a comment. Or if you don't know any of that shit, just make something up. Tell me a story about what happened to Carl after. You know, leave a comment below with what potentially happened with Carl after that. I know for a fact he didn't win that election, and the mayor that was actually in office was a young man that performed the first gay marriage in all of the United States. It was right where I was working. It's crazy. Anyway, so yeah, you know, I like I said, I wish more politicians were more into like quality of life than just dumb political bullshit that they talk about these days. Wouldn't that be nice if they're just like, hey, we're gonna fucking make a place. I'm gonna fucking make a fucking awesome. I'm gonna take your taxpayer dollars and put like a strip of fun clubs where people wee on each other, and then, like, you could go there and like put down plastic sheets and like everybody can piss on you. Or there could be a place where you go and there's a bunch of fucking hammocks where you can drink and there's like nice sunset paintings on the walls, you know? Or just standard bars or nightclubs or whatever. You know, maybe there's a nightclub where you can get all fucked up and do like one of those fucking confidence courses where you got to hook in and shit. Like, who knows? The world is your oyster when you're running for fucking any position. I think the best opportunity you have to win an election and like have something like that is like in a small town, you know, in a state where they're not dry. I'm in a fucking dry county, and they have a downtown in this fucking town in Arkansas and no bars, and it's a perfect southern town to put a bunch of bars in. Get with the fucking future, my friends. And I'll say that I'm a little bit fucking, there's a little bit of stank on that fucking comment because I live in this town. It would be cool to be able to fucking walk to downtown, which is relatively close to where I'm at. And, I mean, it's like fucking 2 miles or whatever. I'd get an Uber. You know, that's another thing they don't have here. It's fucking Uber. Because who lives in Arkansas? People from the 90s. It's like, I realize what Arkansas is in a lot of places, not the big cities like Fayetteville, maybe Fort Smith, maybe, but it's like they are perpetually in the 1990s. Like, that's what I realized, like, from the way they dress to the fucking way they speak to the shit they do. That fucking roller rink, 1990s. Like, if you woke up after a fucking coma and you're like, what year is it? They'd be like, it's 1990. Like, that's if you were in the fucking roller rink. Like, you were trapped in the wall for a few years, and you wake up and you're like, oh, you're knocking on the wall, and people go, oh my God, let's fucking find out. What's in there? And they pull you out. They're like, what year is it? They're like, 1990. And you're like, fuck yeah, roller skate. That's what Arkansas is, I realize. And I like it. I like the 90s. It's a good era. Like, a bunch of grunge music and fucking, you know. Oh, this is what I forgot. The one thing they were playing in the roller rink with music and stuff like that was some pop, but fucking hip-hop country. This is the worst genre of fucking music ever. Jesus Christ. Like, why does that exist, and why do people listen to it? That should just be fucking erased. Not about censorship, but goddamn. Hip-hop country is the worst fucking music. I can't think that there'd be anybody that would disagree with that statement. You know? Anyway, I'm going to move on to something else I want to tell you guys about. You ever hear this game, Escape from Tarkov? It is, if you haven't, I'd go look up some YouTube videos. And even watching them, if you look at Escape from Tarkov and the YouTube videos and the people playing them and like these videos where there's a lot of videos on YouTube that explain this, and it's like 15 seconds will let you know what Escape from Tarkov is, because a lot of times you die super quick, which doesn't seem fun. But to die really quick in a game, it's kind of like that game DayZ where you last like fucking maybe 10 minutes at the most. It's like what I noticed about some new games is like they're really built around you surviving for more than a few minutes, which is crazy. And they're fun as fuck, but don't get me wrong, they're fun as fuck, but it gets frustrating. It's like I just keep dying no matter what. I've watched plenty of YouTube videos. But anyway, so Escape from Tarkov is this, it's hard to describe too. It's a first-person shooter. It's a survival game. It's a raid game. It's only on PC. But the idea is to like, and I'm going to just like, the idea is to not get really into fights, because if you get into a fight with someone and they kill you, they can take your shit. But to get a good feel for what the game is, I can't even describe it in great detail, but it is so fucking fun. It has been consuming my life in my free time. Whenever I have free time, I'm like, if you follow me on Twitch, you've seen all of the Tarkov fucking clips on there. And I've been posting about it on social media and stuff like that. But if I could explain it, essentially you have a main character and you go into the match and you fucking try to collect loot. Now, as I've been going into the game, I've been getting into it, is I realize real quick that you can't use your main character unless you want to lose all your shit. You either have to take off all of the gear or you have to fucking sacrifice it all. Now, I realize as I'm telling this, I sound like a fucking huge nerd, so I'm going to move on. I have been consumed by this game in all of my free time after I like done with work or whatever, and then I jack into the Matrix and I'm fucking playing this shit, and it is a fucking blast. If you're into fucking first person shooters, go check it out. It's fucking dope, and it takes a long time to learn. It took me about 4 days to actually fucking understand how to play it, and yeah, it's a great time. Go, and I'm saying that to say this: go follow me on Twitch, because I'm gonna fucking stream that shit on there as I get better at it. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna fucking what time are we at? Oh, we're at the magic number. We got about, I like to keep these episodes with me so that you guys aren't fucking totally fucking fucked up on it. About an hour 15. It's really where I like to keep it for you guys. I know a lot of people have said, hey, I want longer episodes, but for myself, it's hard to maintain that, you know. Because if you've been following this podcast you've listened to any of the episodes, I don't do standard shit that many podcasts do. Like, I may be more successful with this podcast if I was to just follow suit and do what every other fucking podcast does, and they talk about current events and pop and stuff, popular events and culture and shit like that. But I started to notice, with the exception of like a few podcasts, most of these podcasts are doing exactly the same thing. They cover the same topics. They're hosted by people that are either comedians or what have you. There's thousands of podcasts out there that you can listen to. But I'm talking about like the main really popular podcasts where they all kind of do like current events or things that are happening in the news or what have you. They talk COVID, like everybody's talking about coronavirus mandates and all this shit. And they have a staff and they have a crew, whereas I just do this myself. I do all of the lighting, the fucking the setup, the editing, all of that shit. I've thought about hiring somebody to help me out with it, but I to be honest, this, like I've said in the last episode, it's like almost like a hobby. I like doing this. I like presenting this, and I like the whole process, like setting up the camera, the fucking video monitor, like the lighting. I enjoy it, so I do it myself. Even though I've thought about hiring somebody to help out, but I just don't know what I would do with that person. Maybe something, I don't know. But anyway, what I noticed is a lot of the podcasts do the same thing. Like I'm talking about, I'm not gonna say any names because it doesn't matter. But a lot of the mainstream podcasts with celebrities and comedians and stuff like that, they literally all do the same thing. They cover the same topics. Most of the time they just look at what Joe Rogan said and then they fucking comment on it and then they try to defend him or whatever, or they talk shit about it. It's like they focus on the same thing. And so Me being from New York, I was like, well, I could do that too. I'll add that in. I'll do a current event thing, and I'll talk about the governor of New York because I'm originally from there. And I'll comment on the fact he's resigned from office and whatnot. But I feel like that's kind of turning the podcast into what every other podcast is. You know, I've watched a lot of these podcasts or listened to them, and then as time's been going on, I'm like, damn, dude, they're all doing the same shit. They're just with a different look on it. And I guess if that's your thing, you just want to see current events and you want to hear what these comedians think about Andrew Cuomo and his stuff, that's great. These podcasts are super popular. You can follow that and listen to it. But as the time went on of me listening, because I listen to a lot of podcasts, I started to get kind of turned off to them. It's like, oh, they're all just, they have their staff behind their glass to make it appear like something different when they're all on microphones, like it fucking matters. Why do you have a piece of glass in between you and your producer booth and all that shit? It's like their producers go and they just pick out topics and then they fucking just discuss them instead of actually doing the work themselves. And I'm not taking it. A lot of them probably do the work themselves, whatever. But I don't want to turn this podcast into let's start talking about current events. And so, I could pick topics like the incel shooting, which is a weird fucking thing, or the Andrew Cuomo who actually grabs women by the pussy and resigns, and then everybody's like, well, if you resign, no problem. And then you look at other politicians and it's so biased, like, oh, we're gonna go after you till the end of time until we get you. And then I could talk about how hot it is, which is the heat wave, and some of these podcasts are talking about that. Or I could talk about COVID and the fucking mandates and what do I think about that. And what do I think about mandates? Oh, what do I think about fucking unconstitutional mandates? And what do I think about governors trying to control you and stuff? And I have my opinions about it, but to keep it real, I'd rather just tell you guys that I'm just gonna do me, and I'm gonna keep doing the same kind of, well, not the same kind of shit because it always kind of changes, but I'm just going to keep this podcast sacred and not really, unless it's some ridiculous story like the fucking sperm whale that swallowed a fucking dude. I'm not really going to fucking touch it unless I'm around and recording with my buddy Mark and David and stuff like that. So I hope that you guys and girls enjoy this podcast. I've been getting a lot of good comments lately and DMs and fucking messages telling me how much you enjoy the content, and I really appreciate that. And all I can hope by doing this podcast is that through all these troubling times that we're all fucking dealing with, some of you are dealing with it worse than others. Some of you dealing with it better. I only hope that this podcast gives everybody that follows it and enjoys it a little bit of, time to not think about all of the bullshit happening in life. That's really I started to realize what's the fucking point of this podcast, and I guess it's to give everybody a little bit of time to not think about standard shit like what's going on in the news, which is just chaos and designed to make everybody as divided as possible and to make everybody as scared as possible, when in reality, if you just hang out with the people that you like and it's not like life's not as bad as the news makes it out to be. It's hard to look at the news, or it's hard not to look at the news to find out what's going on for current events. But when you look at it, it's just this fucking psychotic nonsense of, and I'm talking about left and right media. It's it's all designed to make everybody as fucking split as possible and to drive everybody as crazy as possible, especially like with COVID. They've been fucking crushing it. If you think about like media is designed to fucking split people up and fuck with them as much as possible, because no one's going to look at happy stories like they used to put in the news, like the fucking squirrel that was water skiing. Like, that's fucking awesome. That nowadays that video could be found on TikTok, which is also interesting. But everybody's so focused on the news and the media these days, it's fucking hard to stay positive. And so what I'll leave you with for the end of this episode is hopefully you just take some time off to get away from fucking media and news. I try to regularly do that. Like, one of the things I do is when I go into a grocery store or like I'm going into any place, I leave my phone in the car because I don't need to fucking be notified every 10 seconds about what's the next thing that fucking Tucker Carlson's saying about the fucking the extreme left, and what is going on in fucking CNN or whatever the fuck else is out there. I don't really need to see that. And likewise, when I know I'm not really expecting calls, whatever, I can get away from my phone for fucking 10 minutes while I go and look at LCD TVs at Best Buy or whatever. You know, you can do what you want, but that's one of the things that I could leave you with is like, get away from your phones for a little bit. Unless you're listening to this podcast, but, yeah, take some time for yourself. You don't always need the phone. Put it in your fucking car when you're going inside any store, or just take some time off. Put your phone on the charger and fucking walk away from it. You know, especially in your house. Spend time with your family. Spend time with your friends. Be connected with them. Be present. It's hard. I understand it's hard. I've been in the past, and I still struggle with it, is not looking at all this shit. But I'm trying to get better as the time goes on. I used to care about how many likes and how many comments, and it's a business, right? Like podcast and like previous businesses I have right now. It's hard not to look at the fucking amount of likes and stuff. But trust me when I say, when you don't focus on that and you just do you, it's way more enjoyable, because the algorithms, you're not going to beat the algorithm. There's ways to get around it. There's ways to trick it, but it's still designed to fucking make you as angry and fearful as possible. So, yeah, just enjoy your life. And one of the things that you can do is take some time off from fucking social media and the media in general. And that's what I'll leave you guys with. Anyway, this is day one of the 10 days of OLP. It's kind of like the 12 days of Christmas, but better. So I wanted to introduce a character who's the main character and the hero of the story. His name's Richard Stroker. He is the hero of the story I'm titling The Reserve, and it may change. It's all work in progress, but Richard Stroker is an elderly gentleman. He's an elderly chap who has gotten to a place in his life where he's no longer able to control his faculties. So he needs, in a sense, with the guidance of his little bitch of a daughter, Stephanie, has made the decision for him that he's going to move into a nursing home. And so she picks him up, and I couldn't think of a better name than Stephanie for a really shitty daughter. I'm sorry to any Stephanies out there that listen, but I thought all Stephanies went extinct in the 80s. So Stephanie is a really shitty daughter. She never fucking calls, barely picks up the phone. But Richard, just to give you a spoiler alert if you don't want to know this and you want to wait for the book, essentially Richard is watching the state of basically the State of the Union, President Ronald Rump's last address to the nation, and they go into the fucking the Oval Office where Ronald Rump and President-elect Bo Riden are doing their like fucking little media handover of the presidential election. President Ronald Trump has decided to not fight it, and he is now turning over, and he does his little handover, and Ronald Trump decides to be like, hey, for all the shit that you've been giving me for the years, this is what you get. And he shits on the Resolute desk. And then one of Richard Stroker's big issues is that, much like a sympathetic yawn, where I was talking about on the last episode, he has sympathetic diarrhea, and he shits all over his house. And so calls up his daughter Stephanie and be like, hey, I pooped myself again. And she's like, God damn it. And she comes and gets him and goes, you're going in a home. And then, so they take Richard and put him in the home. Coincidentally, it's in a fucking nursing home in Washington. And a lot of this stuff is factual, comes from factual events, but people's names are changed. Obviously, you know what I'm talking about before. And some of the places, people, it's based on current events, and basically from 2019 until now, it's a spinoff of the OLP tale. I'm not going to get into how a space alien comes to Earth, but I guess if you can listen to the fucking OLP tale, you'll figure out how that happens. It involves a Sea-Doo handlebar, space alien that hitched a ride on the handlebars. It exploded through the fucking on a trajectory to Earth, crash landed in the town of Lacey, Washington, and that's where the story begins. Obviously, there's more to it, and obviously, I'm gonna fucking have more to talk about in the next episode of the Violent Professional Podcast. I'll give you a little tidbit about the characters. That's what I'm really going to do. I'm going to introduce you to some of the characters on these episodes. And as I get ready to tell you guys on episode 100 that the fucking OLP draft is complete and ready for me to revise it, rewrite some of the sections, add more stuff in. And there's going to be a lot of old people humor because it's in a nursing home, so it would behoove me to put parts about people fucking in depends, like ripping depends from the side and like fucking each other. So like, old people fucking in a nursing home, gang bang in the old folks home. Shout out to Steel Panther. Anyway, thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I know that these episodes are weird sometimes, and I know they're very eclectic. But I want to bring you something a little bit to distract you from the daily woes of the fucking current time and current age we're living in. You know, some might say that it's a fucking trying time, but I just look back to the fucking 1400s, and at least we're not worried about barbarians coming over and raping our women and taking over the villages. So with that, kids, I'll see you next time on the next episode of the Violent Professional Podcast. Hey, go support our sponsor, Strike Force Energy, Big Pog Tactical, and fucking Uncanna. And I would appreciate it, because if you support them, you support us. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.